The plot of 12 Minutes is a mess. But let's talk about the basics so that we can clean it up a little. First, the time loop. Every 10 minutes after starting a loop, we restart the loop, which is just after the player character, who is named Husband in the credits, but we'll be calling him, I don't know, James McAvoy, I guess, returns to his apartment he shares with his wife, who we'll call Daisy Ridley to avoid confusion that will almost assuredly happen later on into this. James will retain the information he learns from loop to loop, so bit by bit, the plot of the various twists will be revealed as we go. There are main pieces of information that are used to uncover those twists, so let's start listing them off. Firstly, Daisy is pregnant. This is the reason she got a couple pieces of cake and a present in the dresser. She wanted to surprise James with the news, and she'll do so if you let her.
I'm pregnant! We're having a baby!
What? Wow!
The present is a box of baby clothes with the name Dahlia on them, which James will comment is his mom's name, who died in childbirth.
Why Dahlia?
I wanted to name her for your mother.
But I never even knew her.
After about 5 minutes into each loop, a person claiming to be a cop will barge into the apartment and say that he has a warrant to arrest Daisy. He'll handcuff both Daisy and James, then tell them that Daisy is under arrest for the murder of her father on Christmas Eve 8 years ago. She'll deny this. Then the cop will ask about a watch. This is Daisy's father's watch and is in the vent under the medicine cabinet in the bathroom. Next up, Daisy says she killed her father on Christmas Eve. He caught her trying to sneak out, then an argument occurred and he hit her, causing her to pick up one of the guns he had lying around and shoot him with it. She grabbed his watch and ran. Later, she attended a New Year's party at a coffee shop where she met James. Her picture was taken at this party, which is on the fridge. Moving on, the cop is actually a personal friend of Daisy's father. He was tipped off to Daisy's whereabouts by a pawn shop when she got her father's watch valued. The cop is killing two birds with one stone here by killing Daisy, killing the person who killed his mentor, but also stealing the watch so he can sell it and pay for his daughter's medical bills. His daughter, nicknamed Bumblebee, has cancer, and he doesn't have enough money to pay for her treatment. One of the first major twists of the game is when it's revealed that Daisy's father didn't die on Christmas Eve when Daisy shot him. He survived that wound. This is proven by showing the cop the picture of Daisy at the New Year's party, which was hundreds of miles away from where her father lived.
Look at the picture.
Again with this?
Look at the date.
December 31st.
That's the day she killed him. No, that's the day he was killed. But she was hundreds of miles away. She didn't do it.
However, her father did die on New Year's a week later from 2 gunshot wounds at point-blank range. The next twist of the game is the one people are probably referring to when they talk about the twist of 12 minutes. The cop reveals that Daisy's father's dying words were monster, which Daisy takes to mean was her half-brother. See, it's revealed early on that Daisy's animosity toward her dad is because he cheated on her mom with her nanny. The nanny had a boy, and Daisy's mom would call him Monster before she died, which Daisy blamed her father for. Eventually, the cop reveals the name of the nanny, Dahlia.
Dahlia! That's it. Her name was Dahlia.
AKA James's mom. AKA Daisy and James are half-siblings, are married, and are expecting a child. Oh, there's more. So James killed their father on New Year's because he went to ask permission to date Daisy. This is specifically mentioned by the father when he says,
God, permission to date my daughter.
Things got out of hand when James learned the truth of their relationship from their father, leading to a struggle and James shooting him twice. At that point, James blocked all memory of the event and continued his relationship with Daisy. Alright, here's where we get into theoretical territory. Haven't seen anyone else talking about this yet, so I'm just going to name this the therapy theory. The main thing you need to know about the therapy theory is that the vast majority of the plot we know up until now doesn't matter. Just throw that shit in the garbage because we're starting over. Why? Because there are plot holes all over the place with this story as it stands now, with a major one being that James and Daisy's father knows about Daisy's pregnancy.
You just want to play dumb. She's pregnant. You got your sister pregnant. We just can't ignore that.
James only just learned about her being pregnant, and Daisy thinks her father is dead. There's no way for him to have gotten that information yet, let alone 8 years ago when the flashback with him and James takes place where he gets fatally shot. To clear this up, we need to examine a main detail about the game that's been staring us in the face the whole time: the clock. Around the clock are 3 rings, one of which has turned to reveal 2 figures highlighted in gold in the 12 o'clock position. The first ring turned into place at the exact moment James learned that his dad is Daisy's dad. So we'll take this to mean that the rings turning into place represents the acknowledgement of an essential truth. From there, we can unravel the actual story like this. James's father had an affair with Dahlia the nanny and had a son with her, in addition to having a daughter, Daisy, with his wife. Dahlia died in childbirth, and Daisy's mom died when she was a child. Both kids grew up not knowing each other, but fell in love. At some point, the father realized what was going on and took James into his library and told James that the woman he was in love with was his half-sister. Staring at a clock in the library, James mentally rejected this news and got lost in fantasies where he could be with Daisy, only for his father, dressed as a cop representing reality, to bust in and end his delusions. All the time loops are basically fanciful ways of running away from the situation, incongruous, unrealistic, and inevitably ruined by the truth. Credits roll on 12 minutes 3 times, the progression of which I believe is hinting at the actual order of events. The first time you see credits is for the Alone ending, where James decides that a world can exist where he stops seeing Daisy and she simply doesn't know why. This acceptance leads to James living out his life without Daisy in a barren apartment. However, he's still clinging to a piece of his fantasy, represented by the now broken clock, which he can find in its usual hiding place. The second time the credits roll is for the Continue ending, when James examines the clock from the previous ending. With it, James can conjure another fantasy to get back to where his father asks him about what he's going to do about Daisy. If you click a book on the shelf, James will recite a quote from a book Daisy was reading in the time loop.
Hey, it's only by forgetting that we ever really drop the thread of time and approach the experience of living in the present moment.
This will prompt the father to offer an alternative option, hypnosis, which will allow James to forget everything he's learned and go back to his fantasies. If the player commits to this ending, all save data will be deleted, but the third ring on the clock will not rotate into place. The third ring will only rotate for the mindfulness ending, which I believe is 12 minutes actual ending. In this ending, everything about the previous ending needs to be done, up to clicking on the book on the shelf. After James recites the quote, the player can then click on the clock in the room. James will stare at the clock until he's woken up by its chime. The father tells James that he has a remarkable imagination, but pressures him to end his fantasies.
Believing them so strongly, so deeply is unhealthy. You have to let her go. You can't keep obsessing over her. Sometimes things just are what they are. It's time for you to wake up.
As the third ring of the clock rotates into place, we see 2 figures on the first ring representing James and Daisy. The middle ring with an eye representing knowledge of their familial relationship, and another figure on the third ring representing their father. The game then prevents the player from continuing, meaning that James has finally given up on his fantasies and has chosen to accept reality. If we allow for an entirely generous takeaway of this game and ignore nearly every single flaw, including but not limited to technical issues,
Babe, will you tell him? This is a misunderstanding. Look, I don't know. You don't have to handcuff me. We can talk this out.
Look at this picture.
Yeah. Cute pic, so.
okay. What? What is? Oh, good.
No, he's still...
I'm stuck. It's not. Are you? We're.
Tell him everything.
Sir?
Where's the water?
Sir? Sir? Sir?
He can't-
Sir? 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 Sir?
I don't need you anymore, partner.
Sir? Sir? Sir?
You're making a mistake. This is... You can't do this. Please, listen. This is more complicated than you think.
12 minutes, hopefully, isn't about conjuring a reality in which you can Hakuna Matata your way out of serious moral quandaries, which is why I disliked it so much after I got the hypnosis ending and thought that that was the conclusion. I mean, if you played this game and didn't see a problem with James not telling Daisy they're related and manufacturing scenarios where he can continue to see her despite this, I honestly don't know what to tell you other than that's fucked up, you're fucked up. Rather, based entirely on the therapy theory and the seventh final ending, 12 Minutes seems to be a meditation on how the mind can flee from painful truths, and that no matter how elaborate and safe our escapes from reality may seem, they will inevitably fail one way or another, and the truth will out. Anyways, I skipped a bunch of stuff for brevity's sake, but let me know what you think of this ending and if you have any theories of your own that expound upon or deviate from this one. I want to know what you think.
You sure, babe? I think the baby might be hungry. You know what? You know what?
You don't want to.
That's real good.
She's over there mortified, sitting in shame. He's just... God damn.
Oh, that's real good.
You could also...
Thank you for calling Blue Care First. This call may be monitored or recorded for
God.
quality assurance and training purposes.
It would
All
achieve fun,
representatives
'cause
are
it's a
currently
game.
Assisting other customers. Please stay on the line, and the next available representative will assist you.
This is good. Ah, this is good. Oh, he's coming.
Please stay on. All representatives. Please stay on the line. And the
Me?
all representatives.
Oh my
Please stay on
God.
the